Hello, this is Mike, and welcome back to Alarm Engine Academy. Today we're going to be discussing setting up your installer account on ElkConnect.com. First thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate over to ElkConnect.com. So let's just type in the web address. Once you get to this page, the first thing we want to do is enter our email address so that we can get logged in. So mine's going to be very simple for the test on our demo account here. Then I'm going to enter in my password for that. Now I'm logged in. So when you first log in, after setting up your account or accepting the invite to set your account up after you've gone through that process, the first thing you're going to do when you log in is you're going to get shown your accounts page. So today, or for this video, I'm not going to cover accounts and devices. So these two things are going to be covered in a future video because there are a little more detail around those, so it needs to be a little more time on them. So this is really just about getting your account, your installer account set up so that you can start adding systems. First thing I like to do is go over here to where it shows your name in the top right corner. This is how you manage your personal login. So if you click here, this will give you your personal information. So you're gonna have your login username up here at the top. You can correct any spelling or anything that may be odd here on your name. You can add an email address, phone number, or manage which devices accept push notifications if you've had, if you're using it as a personal account as well. We also offer multi-factor authentication that you can add to the account to add more security, for that reason. Then you can change your password if needed. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to go down to installer settings over here on the left. This will be where the bulk of your settings are set up. So click on here, it brings up your installer settings page. So it's pretty straightforward information. First thing I like to do is go ahead and get a logo uploaded and get it into the system. So the requirements for the logo are listed here below it. It's pretty straightforward. Click upload, allows you to go out and pick an image that meets this criteria. Once you upload it, when your customer logs into their user portal, they'll see your logo in the top left corner instead of our logo. So this just gives you the opportunity to have some branding on the main homepage for the user login side. Now, your installer page will always show our logo, but your customers will see your logo. So that's the plan there. Over here is your company details. So when their users log in, they're going to have a company contact information. So what they're going to see is the name that's listed here. They're going to see the email address that's listed here. They're also going to see the phone numbers that you include, your web address, street address, things like that. So this information is pertinent to what the user sees when they log into the web portal. The only thing they don't see is the billing email address. The billing email address is exactly what it says. It allows your billing department to get a specific email that has to do with any invoices or any type of billing or receipts or things that are done via the website or via the ElkConnect site. So as we move down, employee management is also handled here on this installer settings page. This is where you would add additional users for your company to access your installer account. These are not your customers, these are your employees. So if you have an installer that you want to add, you would click add employee, and then you'd go in here and you type in their email address. We're just going to do installer@test.com. And this allows me to then key in what I want. It's just going to be test installer. Just something I can do here. I save. Now, the next process of what happens is the employee will get a email sent to this email address. They have 24 hours to click the link and activate that account. If they fail to do so, they can do a password reset and it'll just send them a link again. Now, once they accept the invite, this information will move from pending confirmation to toggle switches that you can set here. So the two toggles options you have is edit installer settings and billing access. If they enable if you enable edit installer settings, what that does is it gives them access to this page. Essentially, it gives the employee admin rights. So the employee can then add more employees. They can manage your subscription plans, which we'll talk about in a minute. And they can also edit the information located on this page. If you don't want them to have access to that, you can disable access. They can then only get to the accounts and devices. They can't actually go in and edit your account information. Billing access. Billing access gives the employee access to the billing page, which shows your invoices and payments, things of that nature. Also, there's an additional layer of authentication that comes with that. When we get into accounts, we'll discuss this deeper, but when you have an account, it has a subscription tied to it. The subscription cannot be deleted or removed from that account without an employee who has billing access. They can add, but they can't take away. And it just keeps an installer from inadvertently deleting someone's account accidentally. And so it takes a admin level person to do that, or someone who has billing access. All right. Installer service and subscription plans. So this is how your customers will gain access to their apps. So what we're doing here is we're just putting in the base plan. So this is only a one-time setup, barring we don't add any additional services. But for right now, it's a one-time setup thing. So you'll do it now, and then in the future, you'll reference back to these base plans whenever you're activating accounts. Now, this is only for your customers who will be using a mobile app remotely. This doesn't really have anything to do with you as an installer. So if you're using some third-party application, integration, or someone like that, or you're just looking for IP access to the system remotely, there's no cost for that. You don't have to have a subscription plan. You don't have to set any of this up. You can just connect directly to the device remotely via the mobile app or via the web. There is no cost for you as an installer to connect to your systems for configuration purposes and whatnot. But we do require a small subscription fee when it comes to allowing your client to connect with their mobile apps remotely. And it's just a per panel charge. And we'll talk a little bit about that now, but it would be better to have that discussion with our sales team, actual pricing, because we're not going to show it in this video. It'll be blurred out. So since it's public. So when you go to add a subscription plan, the first thing it's going to ask you for is to name your plan. You can get very creative with this. First thing I'm going to create is a demo plan. We allow you to have one free demo plan if you're just wanting to have one for your shop or one for your own personal home, somewhere you want to test the system out. So I normally call that demo plan. Then you'll go down here and you're going to pick the plan. So this is your name. They're going to pick the plan from ELK that matches the demo plan. So right here, this is going to be the demo interactive plan. We limit one per dealer. There's no cost for that plan. Alrighty, you hit save. Now now you're going to have this plan as an option when you activate new accounts. You'll be able to pick from one of the plans that you have created. And since you have one, you'll only have one plan. So we need to add two more. So the next plan we're going to add is an IP-based plan. So I'm just going to call it IP Gold for something. We'll call it whatever you want to call it. It could be, you get creative with it. So this basic interactive plan here, and you'll just basically pick the ELK IP Interactive. Works commercial with that. It's one flat fee. You hit save. Now you have two plans. You want to add one last plan, which we'll call IP/cellular gold plan, and I'm going to pick the one that does IP with cellular. Now it's one flat fee, so we don't charge you additional for having cellular on the account, but there is a charge for having interactive and cellular. All right, once you click save, you have your three plans here, and you can see here that the supported devices are indicated. So E27s are cellular devices. So when you're activating systems, you'll need to make sure you pick the plan that are supported. So if you have an alarm engine E27 with cellular on it, you'll need to pick a plan that supports cellular, or it won't let you activate the cell module. Alrighty. If you decide to delete them, you can delete the plans over here. Alrighty. That's pretty much it for the subscription plans. They're pretty straightforward. We'll get into a little more on like how they actually work or how they apply to your clients when we do the next video on accounts and devices. All right, I'm gonna briefly go through billing details here. We'll have a more descriptive video on it, on invoicing and billing details, but for now, I'm just gonna kind of show you what the page looks like. And because it's part of setup, I like to go ahead and put a card on file just to kind of be ready for it, assuming you're gonna be reselling the product. So when you come to this page, you're gonna see your outstanding balance. If there is anything due, there's nothing due here. I have a lot of test invoices down here where we've obviously a while back we're testing out this demo account. And it'll keep a history of everything that's been on the account here for you to reference. You can see any outstanding invoices that may be here. And then to pay an invoice, you're basically going to fill in your information, your card number, put in this here, and then you can save and set up auto billing if there is no invoices due. If there's an invoice due, this button will say, it'll become two buttons. One button will say, you know, pay the invoice. The other one allows you to set it up and go on auto billing if you choose to. You don't have to use auto billing, but it's just convenient. If you don't want to do that, you just log in each month and pay the bill. We will send you an invoice on the 1st of every month to that billing email address. And that's pretty much everything to do with getting your account set up. So at this point, I feel like you pretty well got the account set up. You're ready to move on. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us at ELK. We're happy to assist you. And that concludes today's video. I look forward to talking with you in future alarm engine videos. Thanks.